Just when you think you have heard the last of the BS surrounding Jon Jones, President Trump goes out and announces that the UFC will host an event at the White House for America's 250th birthday. And immediately, some of the sport's biggest names, and we'll go through those here in just a minute, on all who piped in on who wants to fight on this card. But of everyone that you would think would have piped up, this joker takes to Twitter. And he lets out fighting at the White House, and then saying that he just re-entered the testing pool to keep everyone's, quote, options open. Again, Jon Jones, he has done nothing but tarnish his character over the last year. And I genuinely don't understand if he thinks that he's being funny. I don't. Because no one fucking cares anymore. If anything, it pisses people off to see that this is the attitude that he has. Where he just held up the heavyweight division for a whole year, put Tom Aspinall in his prime on the shelf for over 12 months, and makes a huge mockery out of the whole situation on social media the whole time. Finally gives us the closure we're all looking for by telling us that he's retired. And then as soon as Trump announces this, he takes to Twitter and starts churning the fucking waters again. It's... And the most frustrating part about this is that Dana White is such a Jon Jones meat rider that if Jon Jones comes to him and says, hey, I'll fight Aspinall at the White House, they'll fucking make it. I could see them going to Tom and going, hey, Tom, I know the last 12 months have been really shitty. I know, believe me, we know. But Jon said he wants to fight you at the White House. Right? Is this next year? Let's figure this out. When is America's 250th birthday? It's next year. Okay, so Trump announces that this will happen next year, which will be July 4th, right? Or July 4th weekend. I don't know what day the 4th falls on next year, but I could see Dana White going to Tom and being like, listen, you've been so good during this whole process. We're going to throw you, we'll make it worth your while. We'll throw you fat stacks, but Jon wants to fight you at the White House. I can see it now. And then Tom Aspinall's on the shelf for another year. Because what are they going to do up until now? Are they going to have Tom fight and then have Jon come in at the White House and try and take the title from Tom? I'm assuming Tom will beat whoever he potentially fights in between now and then. But at the same time, is this just another situation where Jon Jones is kind of fucking with us? Did he really re-enter the testing pool? Who really knows for sure? If he did, I'm almost positive you have to be in the testing pool for 6 months before you can fight, right? So 6 months from now is January. That leaves roughly 3.5-ish months of camp. Timing wise, it's all starting to kind of make sense a little bit. And I'm assuming that Trump didn't just come up to Dana last minute before this press conference and go, here's what I'm thinking, Dana boy. This has had to have been in the works for a long time now. Dana White has been very, very vocal about the fact that he does not want to do outside events because you cannot control for the weather. And I don't blame him. Like, it would be a huge pain in the ass to orchestrate an entire UFC pay-per-view card and go through all the logistical pains of setting up a pay-per-view and then it raining, right? And then one of your biggest money makers of the gate, like, and concessions, and like, it's a nightmare logistically. I understand why he has been apprehensive and would not fight in outdoor venues up until this point. But you cannot deny that there is an absolutely disgusting double standard that's being had right now. It's whatever you think about Dana White's relationship with the president, there should be no double standard in the fact that just because the president wants to see a UFC fight at the White House doesn't mean he gets it. Because if you're going to hold an event outside for the president, what does that say to your fans in foreign countries that have been asking you for years to come to their countries? But the biggest thing that you've always said is, nope, can't do it. They don't have a venue. All they have is stadiums. Spain, for instance. Let's use that. That's a great example to use right now. Ilia Topuria is arguably the biggest superstar in the UFC right now. I don't even know if you could say arguably. He is the biggest superstar in the UFC by a long shot right now. Okay? He's got the entire country of Spain chomping at the bits to have a fight in Spain. And Ilya has mentioned it multiple times. Reporters have brought it up to Dana multiple times. And he always says, I told you we're going everywhere. And he always deflects. But he's willing to bend over backward for President Trump. That's the frustrating shit that's been going on with the UFC really bad in 2025. I've said this before. I thought that 2022, 2023, and 2024 were some of the craziest years for the UFC in recent memory. The matchups they were making were outstanding. Their pay-per-views were stacked. Our fight nights were crazy good. Even though they were in the Apex, they were still stacked. And we're still getting fights in the Apex. And then we're getting shitty cards here in the US. And then we're getting UFC Abu Dhabi cards that are stacked and they're just fight nights. And you got guys like Robert Whittaker and RDR, right? So this is all like under the same umbrella as far as like the UFC is not listening to its fan base. And I get it, like it's a business, you gotta listen to your shareholders, but things have been going in a weird direction as far as the decision making that the UFC president Dana White has continued to make. Like I'm all for this if you want to, right? All for it. But if you're gonna do an event at the White House, which the White House is gonna be an outside event because there is no fucking stadium there. There's no T-Mobile Arena, right? So that's gonna be an outside event. The question is if this happens, which I don't believe Dana White has like really confirmed it, but the UFC Twitter page did retweet the post about it happening, and I would assume that they wouldn't retweet it if there wasn't merit to it. So I would assume that this is going to happen. The big question is Dana going to continue to hold the same double standard that he's held in a lot of other different areas in the UFC? Because I'm telling you right now, it's going to piss a lot of people off if Dana White goes and does this at the White House and then continues to refuse to have events at outdoor stadiums such as Spain, such as Mexico, whatever. Insert whatever country that you want that has a very popular fighter, even a champion, right? Like, I envision when they go to Spain, hopefully, for Ilia Topuria, being like when Volk walks out in the Land Down Under to his own crowd, right? That's a special environment that you cannot recreate on the fucking front lawn of the White House. You're just not going to. But, you know, guess who started chiming in as soon as this happened? Obviously, fighters see that this is happening and they go, oh, I want to be on that card. And all the MMA pages start throwing out these dream cards of Sean Strickland and all these heavy American fighters that, you know, we need to stack it, and people are taking off with this shit. And you got guys like Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor somehow still garnering interest from the casuals. Somehow Conor McGregor comes out. He's like, yeah, count me in. I would be honored. No one fucking wants to see that. No one. No one wants to see Conor McGregor come back and fight Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler's 0-15 in the UFC. He should retire 100%. Michael Chandler should not be fighting anymore. I made a video about this after he lost to Patty, right? They need to give him like a pit bull or someone like him, send him off in his retirement. Because he's not a top contender anymore. He's very similarly, even though he's training, he's in the same boat as McGregor. Can't remember the last time either one of them had a notable win against someone that wasn't a scrub. Shit, it's been 5 years, I think, since Conor fought. But you've got all these people coming out of the woodwork saying, oh, I'll fight on the card. I'll fight on the card. And it's going to turn into a spectacle, you know? Like, it's going to... Like, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if Conor McGregor ends up on the card. Or Michael Chandler. Someone that absolutely does not deserve to be on the card. Now, I do think that just like when they go to China, just like when they go to Abu Dhabi, just like when they go to Australia, just like when they go to insert whatever country you want, you should stack the card with Americans, right? If you're going to have a card in the front of the White House, there needs to be an American on one side of the fight for every single fight, right? So it has the opportunity to be like a very cool event. But do I think that they're going to do it the right way? Probably not. Are they going to give undeserving people the chance to be on a once-in-a-lifetime card like this? Absolutely. It's what Dana White does. He gives undeserving people opportunities that they should not get. And some people capitalize on that opportunity and make something of themselves, and it is what it is. But 99% of the time, he gives opportunities to people that don't deserve it. You get exposed, right? The octagon is not a place where you can just put people that don't deserve to be there. It's going to get fletched out very quickly. So people like Conor McGregor, people like John Jones, people like Michael Chandler, unfortunately, we're probably going to see all of them on the card. I hope to Christ that John Jones was just fucking around on these tweets. And I hope that we don't see any more drama with him. I hope they let the heavyweight division move on and let Tom Aspinall do his thing. If anything, what needs to happen if John Jones is truly coming back to fight on this card? Again, 6 months from now, he's going to be cleared from the testing pool. So that's around January, New Year. Have him fight Tom Aspinall for the belt, for John to try and take the belt. But let Tom fight at least between now and then, so that he can get a title defense under his belt and get in the ring. Because at this point, if they come to him and say, hey, John Jones wants to fight you at the White House, what do you think? Like, that's another 8 months of him being on the shelf. And it's already been, how long has it been since Tom Aspinall? Early 2024, I want to say. July. So it's been a year now. Almost a year. So I hope to Christ that they give Tom Aspinall a fight between now and then. Let him get in the cage. And then if John Jones is really about it and he's not being a scumbag like he has been for the last 12 months, then let Tom Aspinall just pick him apart in the UFC event and make everyone happy. We can close the chapter on John Jones and finally be fucking done. But let me know your thoughts below. Let me know if you think that Dana White is going to exercise some prime time Dana White privilege and give people the likes of Conor McGregor and John Jones, people that are very undeserving of having a spot on a type of card like this, a spot. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Appreciate you stopping by as always, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.